Hello, I'm Amy Nelson, and I am a lighting designer here at the Metropolitan Museum of Art in New York City. I came into this job in 2013, where I worked as the assistant to the two senior lighting designers. As my interest in lighting grew, I decided to go back to school, and I got a master's in interior lighting design from the New York School of Interior Design. While I was attending school at the New York School of Interior Design, it just opened up my eyes to the many applications of lighting, and I was then able to bring a whole new set of technical skills to my position here at the Met. And I was promoted to lighting designer, where I'm now leading my own shows, which is excellent. Here at the Met, I am a lighting designer. I specialize in lighting art, but also the environment of the museum. And it varies in terms of scale. We have permanent collections where things are rotated out, whether they go out on loan or maybe it's a light sensitive object that can only be out for a certain length of time. And those are very small, manageable jobs where my team and I will enter the galleries in the mornings before opening hours. And we will go in on a lift most of the time, sometimes ladders, and adjust lighting. And that's just a fine tuning of the gallery lighting. And then we work on everything from a small gallery rotation to a large exhibition in one of our many special exhibition spaces where we'll have 250 objects in a show. We'll work very closely with the curator to tell their story and to show the objects in the best light, showing off the detail. And the thing that I love about the Met is that it's all here. We have, 5,000 years of art and artifacts in the museum, from works on paper, photography, sculpture, paintings, video work, installation work. So I think that I would get really bored if I was lighting one type of art or space. And even the gallery spaces vary so much in terms of the ceiling height, the conditions, the scale. So it's every day is a new challenge. I think that a lot of museums who hire freelance lighting designers, or maybe don't have anyone who's specialized in lighting. Maybe they have a maintenance person who has a vague sense of lighting, do the initial install, and even if the exhibition looks great on opening day, there's no one there to kind of maintain that aesthetic throughout the run of the show, to troubleshoot, to address issues throughout. So I think having lighting designers on staff is incredibly beneficial to the museum. Of any scale, really, even a museum that's not, as large as the Met. It would certainly be beneficial to have the expertise in-house for when issues arise. We've got a museum of lighting here at the Met. Yeah, I mean, and I think even in terms of controls in Lutron, we must have every edition of Lutron throughout this building, which we're working on upgrading. But it's a challenge. Just as we were speaking before about the rate at which the technology is advancing, I think that a lot of designers are overwhelmed by just the sheer number of products that are on the market right now, to kind of weed through them and find quality products. With all the technological advances, you have a new set of skills that lighting designers are having to learn or rely on other specialists. You know, it's not just about color rendering anymore. You really have to be like a computer programmer or something, you know. So I think that maintenance is something that is a challenge in a museum of this scale and needs to be considered from the user's point of view. That we don't just, you know, see something cool on the market and say, hey, we want to redo a suite of 100 galleries with this, and then in 4 years you find out, okay, this is all failing now. How do we address this expense? You know, and it's a different way of budgeting where, you know, the halogen lights, you can have a stock of them, do spot replacements. Now with the LEDs, they fail in groups, and, you know, you have even if you can go 7 years without an expense, then suddenly there's a very large expense at that time. So it's a lot of rethinking the system that's going on. And, you know, I think that LEDs are incredibly beneficial, and the technologies that are coming along with them. But there's certainly some still new. There's still some kinks to figure out, I think, before we just go ahead with them, pave the way, you know. Well, there's lots of things when I'm experiencing LEDs, especially in public spaces, that I'm interested in the LEDs, that they're very, I find offensive in a lot of places, and I'm interested in ways of shielding them, diffusing them, and, you know, I think that light's just gotten too bright over time. So that's one area. And then also fixtures have always been of interest to me. My background before I entered lighting was in sculpture. And so at some point I'd really like to marry those two things. And I think fixture design would be of incredible interest to me. One project that really stands out is a show that I actually lit at the Breuer Building, and that was an artist by the name of Ligia Pape, a Brazilian artist, who won the show, was on the largest floor of the Breuer Building, and they had mixed media throughout. So it was very challenging in terms of creating a fluid aesthetic when you had works on paper and sculpture, video, and installation. But I was very happy with how the show overall turned out. But at the end of the show, there was a nice surprise where you went into, the viewers entered a black box, and there was this incredible installation of gold thread that was suspended from the ceiling. And it was such a pleasure working with her studio to light that piece, because as you entered this dark space, it was like light shafts coming down from Breuer's gridded ceiling. And it was a real challenge to get it just right so that the light was reflecting in the right way, and the source was, you know, it took some mock-ups to find the correct source. But I was very happy with the outcome of that piece. Yeah, I think just coming into an institution of this scale as a young designer, really as an artist who kind of evolved into a designer, and making a space for myself, you know, to really offer the institution all of my skill sets. And I came in working as an assistant to the senior designers who've been here for quite a while. And I kind of transformed that role. And through education and learning from my mentors, Rich and Clint, and, you know, kind of building up from this administrative role and a assistant to the lighting designers, where I'm now taking the lead on shows. Clint Collar and Richard Lichty have been very influential in my practice as a lighting designer and my career here at the Met. Really, and all of the practical knowledge that I have of lighting, I learned from them by working closely with them, by asking questions. And they've been very patient with me and very generous in sharing their knowledge. Well, light is everything, it's everywhere. So I think that light inspires me in art, it inspires me in how I experience the built environment, and also in nature. I think also the community around lighting, which I'm getting into more and more. I think it took a while to kind of find that community, and once you realize how large it is and how vast the various expertises are in lighting design, it's incredible to meet all these people from different walks of life who have found a career in lighting. And that's very inspiring. Yeah, I mean, I think what you're doing is incredible. Just giving a platform to women to come forward, to share their experience and their story. I think that it's really just perhaps about being asked and being aware of it. I think that there's a lot of people who lack that awareness, you know, and recognizing that there's an issue is really the first step, and then, you know, encouraging women to come out of the woodwork to jump at these chances and to take the risk. I think it's easy to say no to an opportunity, especially if you're nervous about it, or you have some kind of self-doubt. But I think that if you just put yourself out there, that, you know, you'll find that more and more women are doing that. And when they have that support system in place, that the playing field will level. To take the risk, to let your voice be heard, to take credit for your ideas and your contributions, and to support others.